On February 4th, 2025, Sweden changed forever. What started as an ordinary day at Campus Risbergska in Örebro ended in one of the worst school shootings in the country's history. When the smoke cleared and police cordons were set up, 11 people were reported dead, including the shooter himself. However, throughout the evening, the death toll and the number of injured have risen, and the overall situation remains unclear. This is part 1 of the worst school shooting in Sweden's history. Welcome to the Midnight Docket. This was not an episode I had planned to make, as the news reached me while I was editing this week's video. But since this is the worst school shooting in Sweden's history, I decided to cover the incident. There are still many unanswered questions, which means this case will be divided into 2 parts. Just after 12:30 p.m., the first emergency calls started flooding into the police. Panicked voices could be heard on the phone. "There's someone with a weapon in here! He's shooting!"
Oh my god, det var skjutning! Folk gråter! Oh my god, det är skjutning! Oh my god!
It only took a few minutes for the police to arrive, but what awaited them inside the school building was a massacre. Campus Risbergska, an adult education school in Örebro, is a place where students of various ages study everything from Swedish as a second language to university preparatory courses. At the time of the attack, over 2,000 people were present on the school grounds. One of the most harrowing witness accounts comes from a student who managed to hide in one of the school's restrooms. Using his mobile phone, he filmed himself as he stood on the sink to avoid being hit if the shooter decided to fire through the door. In another clip from the same student, we see how he is found by the police's tactical unit and frisked.
Jag öppnar dörren! Ja. Tjena. Tjena.
Vi måste guida ut den här personen.
Jag kommer visitera dig. Ställ dig upp. Ställ dig upp, jag kommer visitera dig. Stopp. Ja, visitera. Lås in dig igen. Okej.
When the police finally entered, they were met with a horrifying sight. Bodies lay scattered in the hallways, classrooms were covered in blood, and shocked students and teachers were desperately trying to escape with their lives. Soon, the police were able to identify the shooter. He was a 35-year-old man residing in Örebro with a legal gun license. He was not previously known to the police and had never been under any major investigation. But why did he carry out this horrific attack? The investigation soon suggested that he acted alone, but police did not rule out that he may have had contacts or sources of inspiration that had yet to be mapped out. In his home, authorities found notes and digital files that are now being analyzed to understand his motives. Survivors have recounted the terrifying moments when the gunfire echoed through the school corridors. "I heard the sound of gunshots and everyone started screaming. I ran into the classroom and we barricaded the door with chairs and desks. It was the only thing we could do," one survivor recalls. Others describe seeing the shooter calmly walk through the hallways, methodically and coldly executing his victims. The police acted quickly, and when they entered the building, they found the shooter dead. But even though the immediate danger was over, the true extent of the carnage was still unknown. As the evening progressed, reports of the number of dead and injured continued to rise, and uncertainty remains about the total number of victims. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson addressed the nation, describing the event as the worst mass shooting in Sweden's history. King Carl XVI, Gustaf, also expressed his sorrow and condolences to the victims' families. Meanwhile, the debate over gun laws and school security in Sweden ignited immediately. However, this is not the first time a school attack has shaken Sweden. Over the past decades, several brutal incidents have occurred in school environments, though none have reached the same scale as the one in Örebro. The most notorious attack before this took place on October 22, 2015, at Kronans School in Trollhättan. The 21-year-old Anton Lundin Pettersson, dressed in a black coat, helmet and mask, entered the school armed with a sword. He attacked both students and staff, killing 3 people. Teaching assistant Lavin Eskandar, 20 years old, student Ahmed Hassan, 15 years old, and teacher Nazir Amso, 42 years old. The perpetrator was shot by police at the scene and later succumbed to his injuries. The investigation revealed that Lundin Pettersson had racist motives and had specifically chosen the school due to its location in an area with a high proportion of immigrants. He left behind a farewell letter in which he expressed dissatisfaction with Sweden's immigration policies and blamed society for his actions. On March 21, 2022, another tragic event occurred at Malmö Latin School in central Malmö. 18-year-old student Fabian Cederholm attacked and killed 2 female teachers, Victoria Edström and Sarah Böck, with an axe and a knife. After the attack, Cederholm put down his weapons, called emergency services himself, and confessed to what he had done. The police arrived shortly thereafter and arrested him without resistance on the school's 3rd floor. The investigation revealed that Cederholm had planned the attack for a long time. He had originally intended to carry out the act during the last lesson of the day, but changed his plans multiple times before finally striking. In September 2022, Fabian Cederholm was sentenced to life in prison for the murders of the 2 teachers, making him the first teenager in Swedish history to receive such a sentence. In Eslöv, in 2021, a 15-year-old student stabbed a teacher in an attack inspired by school shootings abroad. Kristianstad also experienced a similar attack in January 2022, when a 16-year-old student stabbed a teacher and a fellow student. Sweden's deadliest school attack before the mass shooting in Örebro was the shooting in Kungälv in 1961, where a young man opened fire during a school dance, killing 1 student and injuring several others. The school shooting in Örebro remains under investigation. Police are searching for answers, families mourn their lost loved ones, and an entire nation struggles to understand how something like this could happen. If you found this video interesting and don't want to miss part 2 of the Örebro school shooting, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you for watching, and remember to take care of yourselves.